Because he's not. You don't get into F1 if you're rubbish.
Right.
So
he's a good enough driver. Yeah.
He's just struggled and not been great. But I'm glad that he got a point.
Yeah.
I was happy for him. Haas back.
Yeah.
Gene, I need more money, Gene.
Yeah, well, I think, and they will need more money ASAP to make a better car. Big time, yeah.
Max has got robot tendencies, man.
Yeah, robot written all over it.
Yo people, welcome back to On Track GP, and we are here for the Mexican Grand Prix preview. Boys, in the building, how are we doing today?
Do it.
It's going to be a great day. I love the Mexico City Grand Prix.
Mexico City, baby.
Yeah?
It's a new thing.
Yeah, I know, the new name.
I know.
And officially the Mexico City Grand Prix now.
The Mexico City Grand Prix. So
Yes.
is it no longer called the Autodrome?
I think it's that, but it's referred to as the Mexico City Grand Prix. That's what they're
Keep
going
it fresh
for
though with these things, don't you? You've got to keep it moving.
Wow. Well, Pedro and Ricardo Rodriguez will not be happy about you keeping it moving. I'll tell you
The
that.
brothers are not going to be happy.
They'll be like, yo,
that's
you
for
named the track after me. You're going to take the name and
What's happened now?
Put it elsewhere. And I remember from the quiz, 71 laps, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's been 17 turns.
You've been doing your work, man.
How many to the left, how many to the right?
4,300 kilometers.
Yeah, nice
Yeah, but
stuff.
I remember from the quiz all the studying. So this track, very excited. Obviously, Sergio Perez's home Grand Prix. We may as well start off with Red Bull then, going into this. Home Grand Prix, a lot of pressure, a little bit of a lackluster season to say the least. But
For one of them.
Not the team.
not the team, and not for Max. Can we see a Sergio upset in a race like this?
No. Max is going to be... Max has won 4 of the last 5 here. He's ridiculous. I mean, I think we're going to see him annihilate everybody. I think it could be one of the biggest winning margins we've seen all season. I think he's going to absolutely clean sweep, pole position, first place, fastest lap is sorted.
Do you have this similar sentiments?
Yeah, he's going to complete the bingo card, isn't he?
ruthless.
I think for him last week, he maybe got a bit... I know Lewis got disqualified, I'm sure we'll talk about that, but... it got a bit too close for comfort for him. So he's just going to want to go out, just nice, easy one. And he knows it's Perez's home race. I think Sergio's came out this week and said, make sure everyone supports Max. Because famously, he's booed there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is that what we want to hear?
What? Is he going to retire? Because that's what we read on Reddit a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
the famously reliable source of Reddit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think by doing that, he's taking the pressure off himself, isn't he? Saying support the team rather than me, I think.
Because I could disappoint you greatly.
I think he'll do okay. I think he'll probably get on the podium or something, but Max is just a class above everyone else, and I think the Red Bull is going to outperform every other car by a long way, particularly under the hands of Max Verstappen this weekend.
The Mexicans also unveiled a special helmet design this weekend that's been designed by one of his fans, which I'm going to be very interested to see how that looks. Christian Horner as well has been discussing ideas of how to make sprint races more exciting. Apparently the last one wasn't so.
I was terrible. I did it.
Who would have thought?
I was sitting there going, I'm struggling here.
Yeah.
It was
only 19 laps or something.
I know,
it's not
but
even
the
long.
format, like we had the one in Qatar a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was really exciting. Lots of safety cars, things like that. Didn't he want to reverse the top 10? Is that what Christian
That was, Inkling kind of reversing the top 10, offering more points as well.
So you do it either that it's reverse championship order, or so you say Logan Sargent would start in first, then I don't know whoever's next, Daniel Ricciardo 0 points, all the way up, or you do the opposite and the sprint defines what happens the starting grid for the Sunday. So the sprint is the quali. I think that's the only 2 ways to do it.
Yeah, it needs refining because the idea of more racing is good. I think more excitement. We don't need we as watching don't want 3 practice sessions. Maybe the teams do, but they need to change it because the current format is not good and it is boring.
And it gives away what's going to happen on Sunday.
Exactly. Yes. We saw Ferrari, didn't we, last week, trying the soft tyre for Sainz, and they still got it wrong actually on Sunday. but they were like rehearsing for strategy instead of taking what was a potential point seriously. So
correct.
It's like it's too many spoilers for the film.
Exactly.
Before you've even watched it.
It's like a big trailer.
Yeah. Massive
30-minute trailer.
Massive spoiler.
Yeah,
Not necessary. Moving over to Mercedes as well. Not a great outcome for them in the last race. Hamilton obviously basically scrapped his entire performance, which was on the cusp of a win, but not quite because Mercedes didn't actually realise they were quick.
I think there's actually, if you look back on it and reflect, points don't really matter at this stage of the season because of how the season's gone, to be honest. But there's a lot of positives to take for Mercedes and Lewis, and he's come out with some fighting talk this week. He is saying that he reckons he can be one of the drivers to catch Max in the future. I think it's given him a lot of confidence, and he did look quick. Obviously, there was a problem with the floor, and Mercedes have come out and apologised for that, haven't they? So, I think there's a lot of positives to take for Mercedes. I think they'll do well this week. I mean, you're right. I think maybe Red Bull won too, but I think Lewis could.
That was like the only issue is that for points, that was a definitive moment in Perez is now second.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Mercedes could have a good weekend. There's a lot of positives to take, and if they keep on building, like McLaren are as well for next year, then who knows? We might have an exciting season again.
I wanted to talk about the disqualification of Lewis Hamilton because I was thinking about it, right? So Lewis and Charles both got disqualified because they checked the cars. They checked 4 cars after the race. Half of the cars that they checked were illegal. You've got to think, by that ratio, 50% of the cars. I think there's going to be some teams out there that are going, thank God they didn't check our car.
Yeah.
Because it's very unlikely that it just, out of all 20, just happens to be 2 of the 4 that they checked were the ones that were running an illegal plank. So I feel like there's going to be some people out there going, thank God they didn't check our car.
We got away with one there.
Yeah.
Because I think you're right. If you say they test 3 or 4 cars, nothing's wrong, fine, leave it. But if 2 out of your 4 are, you might want to check a few more.
Check the rest,
or just check the whole field.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it was to do with the track, wasn't it?
People were running a different. Running a different.
They didn't have time to check everyone.
Well, tight schedule. Mercedes said, "Well, we only had one practice session, so we didn't have time to check it or get it right or whatever." But yeah, I think some people got away.
I demand a recount. I demand a recount.
Big time. I think
50% is definitely a pass.
Do you know what I mean? You follow the maths on it.
Yeah.
You think we should maybe check a few more.
I think so too, to be honest. There does seem to be a lot of positivity in the camp. Technical director James Allison's opened up about his optimism over the recent upgrades of W14. Hamilton also spoke about his happiness over the upgrades and that he feels like he's getting closer to just being able to challenge Max Verstappen soon. And yeah, ahead of the Mexican City Grand Prix, hopefully, we'll see them up there again. And I think if they are going toe-to-toe, they would have learned from hopefully the mistakes that they made in the last one, not taking track position and things like that. And hopefully they can battle Red Bull a bit better. McLaren, in an interesting position as well. What position are they now?
They've overtaken Aston Martin.
They've now overtaken Aston Martin. Well, that was always kind of
that was another the way,
wasn't it? Aston Martin was just like a sitting duck.
Yeah.
Next up is Ferrari.
Yeah,
they'll do them.
Your team.
No. As long as we just
no.
don't make terrible errors, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah, but is that not what you've done for about 2 years? Make terrible errors.
No comment, James. No comment.
Not speaking about my lawyer.
No. Yeah. I think McLaren will be good here. I don't think they'll be great here. I don't think Lando Norris is going to change the world and win here, but I think they'll be probably trying to get one of the guys on the podium. I don't know how realistic it is. The thing about this Grand Prix is it's wild because it's so high up. The altitude is so high. Yeah. The downforce on the cars is much more difficult to get, but you have the long straight down the back straight. So you're kind of running 2 different types of car in one, the sort of Monaco downforce, but you might get sort of like the speeds of Monza. So it's kind of quite an interesting balance. I think McLaren will sit somewhere in the middle of it. Okay. And we'll do okay.
A 5th, 6th kind of thing. I don't think they'll set the world alight. And it's funny, isn't it? Norris, what I love about him, he is so honest in his interviews, sometimes maybe too honest. And he said, we've had our best chance if we were going to win a race, it's really Qatar. So, they'll be all right. I mean, I always bring back with McLaren, look how they started in those first few races. Yeah. Anywhere in the top 10's a miracle, really.
So, it's unbelievable turnaround.
So, they've had a good season. I think it might peter out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a shame because I've been enjoying their rise, but they have given us a lot this year. Very happy to see them.
I think they'll be very solid. I think they'll be third fastest team.
I think they'll be higher than the majority, obviously. But
but not because what we're now looking for from McLaren is a win. Yeah, and they've been in the podiums at 4 consecutive races. We're now looking for, can you take the next step to win a race? Seems like sounding like probably not. But Zach Brown has been quick to say that Red Bull is only human. So. Yeah, it's good to know.
It's a good analogy from Zach.
Only humans are working at Red Bull, not aliens.
I don't know. Max has got robot tendencies, man.
Yeah, robot written all over.
Joke. He's mental.
He swears a lot on radio, that robot.
Yeah. He does.
Not a happy man.
A malfunctioning robot all the time.
Ferrari as well. Your team, Leclerc.
Yeah, I think we'll struggle a bit.
Yeah,
I think we'll struggle a bit. 4th fastest. Maybe if we could get we could maybe get a 4th or something, that'd be a good week. I'm not hugely optimistic. I don't think our car's kind of perfect for this. Maybe down the back straight we'll have a good bit of straight line speed. Yeah. But I think we'll struggle with the thin air. I think that's not going to work well with our car compared to the likes of the guys with the Honda engine. So I think we'll struggle a little bit this weekend.
What do you think the straight line speed will look like? Because Sector 1 is basically just a straight road.
Yeah.
I think it's a great track. You know, that also towards the end, that little sector inside
in the
stadium. Grandstand.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
That is cool.
Yeah. I love this track.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful track. I think it will lend itself to certain teams, maybe Ferrari not being one of them. I need to ask you this, Joe, actually, because I think it's for Ferrari fans. What do you think about, they're the only team to me that have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. But I think there's some confusion. What is going wrong with Ferrari's strategy? Because they're doing something different to everyone else in terms of how they communicate with their drivers. Like, if I'm a driver, I'm driving, hours and hours, and someone says, we're going plan D, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is plan D?
Yeah, you do hear more letters than other teams, don't you?
What's the normal amount of plans?
Well, I feel like
just have plan A and win it, no?
Yeah, plan A and win it.
Especially from pole for Leclerc last week.
Plan A, I think plan A, plan B, and plan C seems normal.
Yeah.
Anything after that is a bit excessive.
When we were looking at J's, you're thinking,
it is funny when they go, what's plan F? I don't know.
Plan K.
Can you remind me?
Special K?
Cereal? Do you think there's a lead driver at Ferrari this year? We were discussing it earlier this week.
No, and I think
Sainz overtaken.
Sainz is ahead in the points. So if you go by the stats, then Sainz should be number one driver. I think Charles has the ability to unlock more long term. And I think he's a driver that can take the car to the edge. But when he drives it 100%, he occasionally bins it. So I think at the detriment of the team, they haven't picked a number one. But you look at their data throughout the season, they are so marginally close in so many things. I think they need to have a think next year about, look, do we put all our eggs in one basket, or do we try and play this, make both guys happy, and ultimately could that...
And just clear strategy about swapping cars and being decisive. I mean, I know a lot of teams struggle with that, but I think we'll see another failure this weekend.
I think if we can get both cars to cross the finish line and get a double pointer, then that would be okay for me as a Ferrari fan. Look how low my expectations are. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of expectations falling, Aston Martin. To be fair, Stroll did finish 7th in the last race. Strong performance.
He did well, man.
He was really good.
From the pit lane to go 7th. I mean, he's lucky because he got 2 guys disqualified. But he actually did all right, to be fair to him.
Aston turned it around, didn't they? Because the weekend was a horror show. Like, it was awful. And then Alonso comes out and turns around and says, I've told the engineers to take all those upgrades off the car. It made it worse. And to be fair, the drivers were right, because start from the pit lane, the both of them, and both having a good race. So
poor Fernando, is unlucky in the end to well, I forget exactly what happened to his car, but obviously he didn't finish the race. But
again, there were positives
for
that. And do you know what? Fair. Let's give credit to Lance for once. I think for once, and that is solely it.
Teeth. We have to.
If we have to, then
seems like we have to give him credit.
But fair play to him. He drove well.
I agree, mate.
It's mad that they spent that money on upgrades, and it's actually
rip them out.
Old version car that needs.
I know Lawrence is in his private jet. No.
Sounds like a lot of money's gone down the drain there. Alpine as well. Gasly. Strong performance. Where did he finish in the end? Was it
sixth,
wasn't it? Yeah.
He did very well. I mean,
we didn't really talk about him too much.
Because he had Anthony Joshua in his ear, didn't he? They had all their investors on the radio.
Of course.
I was like, he's gone on his formation lap, which I don't even think you're meant to speak to the team on the formation lap anyway. But Anthony Joshua's going, hi man, it's Anthony Joshua here. I just want to say I'm wishing you the best of luck.
He doesn't have a clue. He didn't even know how to say Alpine.
Yeah,
Alpine.
Yeah, Alpine. So that was the big story for me at the weekend. Was Rory McIlroy was there parading the Ryder Cup. It was all about celebrity status for Alpine. But again, listen. They're another driver pairing where I look at Gasly, I look at Ocon. They're really, really good drivers. If they can just give them a car, I think they could challenge seriously next year. They just need a car to support.
Where do you think they can cap off next year? Because so many teams above them now. It's hard to. Aston Martin made such massive leaps.
I think they can be the Aston Martin.
You think they can claim back that spot?
Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously Aston Martin not having a good time now.
Yeah.
I think you've got Red Bull, you've got your Ferraris, Mercedes, and McLaren. I think that will be a four.
Good four, yeah.
I think Alpine will come in 5th. I think they'll be the best of the rest.
It'd be a big drop off for Aston Martin then, wouldn't it? If that
was the case.
I think, but if the team persists with Stroll, and I can see why they have to. I mean, I know he's had a good race. We've just spoken about it, but I just think Fernando will start getting a little bit pissed off with him. Yeah. I can see problems at Aston Martin. They had such a good start, and then let it go to their head, didn't they?
Thinking about this week, I think Alpine could actually do all right.
Yeah.
I think they run quite a good downforce, and in those really tight turns towards the end with the thin air, I think that they could capitalise and actually be best of the rest this weekend. I can see Gasly or Ocon having a pretty decent run. And my God, does Ocon need to finish a race?
Yeah.
The guy with the most retirements this season. He could do with a good one.
Yeah, he's been moving like a pensioner. It's been wild. A team that you were saying had a bit of speed potentially this weekend, AlphaTauri. Not great for Danny Rick last week.
No, that's quite a statement. That.
Well, mate, when I say a bit of speed, I think, again, the Honda engine leans itself into the altitude a bit more. So maybe I think they could be quicker than the likes of the other. I think they could be. I think actually they could be a bit quicker than Williams. I think they will definitely be quicker than Haas, and maybe Alfa Romeo as well. We'll see. Anything else is kind of unachievable with them. But maybe they could sneak in and grab a point. Maybe Danny Ricks. This could be his moment to go and grab a point.
Hopefully for him, yeah. Liam Lawson's also opened up on taking the news that he won't be in F1, in the F1 grid for 2024, saying that he's been trying to understand the situation and the logic behind it.
It's heartbreaking.
I've also been trying to understand it too. But he's not so sure outside of the reserve or simulator driver role what he will do next season. Feels like he's above that.
Was he told? He was told in Singapore, wasn't he? So
yeah, he was told quite.
He knew for a while, didn't he?
Yeah. He needs to do an Oscar Piastri.
He does, or just I've been told, or whatever that tweet was. Yeah, it's disappointing for him. It's hard though, isn't it? Because we haven't seen a lot of him. What we've seen of him, fantastic.
Yeah.
But then you could argue that with every other driver that's been given opportunity, they got an opportunity because we saw something really good, even if it was short when they did, a practice session or something like that.
Yeah.
We need to see a full half a season of him or something like that. But I do think Daniel Ricciardo's got to have a good weekend. I know they've signed that contract into next year, and for many reasons, Danny Rick's a great person to have in your team. But he hasn't done much since he's come back, really, apart from break his wrist. So that's been the highlight.
That's probably when he was probably maybe at his best.
Oh, in that weekend, yeah, maybe. Liam Lawson, I feel hard done by, especially when you're looking at some of the people we've got in there, your Logan Sargent, your Lance Strolls.
Yeah, you're right. Danny Rick's due a good weekend.
Because he put in a really good debut. Where did he finish on his debut? Was it not?
He scored points.
Yeah, he scored points, I think it was.
Who, Liam Lawson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable coming in, how quickly
I'd feel hard done by, but he'll get there. He's young, he's got time. He'll be in an F1.
Alfa Romeo struggling last weekend as well. Yeah. Recent rumours are saying that Sauber and Audi are now planning for Nico Hülkenberg and Esteban Ocon as a partnership for 2025 as well, which would be an interesting one.
Wait, say those names again?
Nico Hülkenberg
and
Ocon.
Where?
2025.
At Alfa Romeo?
Indeed.
Oh, Alfa Romeo? I thought you said Audi.
Yeah, because Audi.
Sorry, Audi. Sorry, it's Audi. Yeah, Audi.
Audi coming at 26 though, don't they?
Well, it says Sauber and Audi are now planning.
Oh wow, maybe from the 26 season then.
Yeah, well, it says 2025, but
that would be quite a pair. Right? You've got one who can qualify and one who can race. Yeah, no.
Wow. Because we heard about Carlos Sainz.
To be fair, we have been saying that Magnussen's been slacking this season, and Hülkenberg's kind of...
He qualifies well, Hülkenberg, doesn't he?
But then, the performance in the car in the race is just
I'm trying to give him something here.
Yeah. I think Bottas could do... He's been quite good here in the past, Bottas at Mexico City. So I think Bottas could maybe do something interesting this weekend. I think points for the Alfa Romeo this weekend might be a bit of a stretch, but Bottas might ask the question. Maybe stick it in Q3 or something like that. I don't know.
I don't see many shocks this weekend. I think it's just going to be your top teams are there, your midfield's there, and then your lower teams are there.
It's not a hugely overtakey circuit. That's the other thing. Once you're into it, that's it. I think it was only last season, the last race was like 24 overtakes there. Yeah. So it's not a huge amount of on-track overtakes, but that's why qualifying could be so important.
Yeah, true.
And Williams as well, you're saying that maybe might be a little bit behind AlphaTauri this weekend, Albon.
It's just vibes, mate, innit? I don't know.
Sargent as well.
I think...
Sargent got points. That's
Sargent
a massive moment.
Yeah, which is great.
I was really happy. Genuinely happy with him. The Williams is quick in a straight line, but not so quick round corners. So it would just be how the engine performs. On that back straight, they'll be quick, but in the...
that back straight is ridiculously long.
Yeah. I like Alex.
You should have years to overtake there.
You've got opportunity, but if your car's slow, you're not going to do it. That's the problem. But I think if anyone can extract performance out of a pretty dodgy car, it is Alex Albon, and he's proved that quite a lot this year. But it was good for Sargent to have his kind of moment, wasn't it? His home Grand Prix and get the points. But
I'm really happy for him, genuinely. Because he's not. You don't get into F1 if you're rubbish.
Right. So he's a good enough driver. Yeah.
He's just struggled and not been great. But I'm glad that he got a point. Yeah. I was happy for him
because he will bring up the rear this weekend. That is. He'll be 20th.
Do you think that'll be his only point of the season? That's him happy now, done, sorted.
I don't think he'll get another one.
No, but good for him. And George Russell cried when he got his first point in F1, didn't he? So
it's not easy to score a point in F1.
To get into top 10,
you've got to be one of the 10 fastest drivers in the world to score a point in F1. Technically, right?
When you say it like that is quite incredible.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I can stick it on his CV. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And Haas, I mean, what do we see for Haas this weekend? It feels like
they've got to be looking ahead to 24 and thinking, what can we do? Because it's just been pretty poor all round, really. The car's a tractor. It absolutely destroys its tyres. It feels like the thing that used to be like awesome about Haas was like, Gunter was always laughing and they were having fun. It's like they were a fun team.
Yeah.
They don't seem fun anymore.
No.
They just seem like
bland.
Kind of a bit depressed about how negative their season's been, which is kind of understandable because the results haven't been great. But I don't know. I want to see fun, happy Haas
Buoyant
back.
Haas back, yeah.
Gene,
yeah.
I need more money, Gene.
Yeah, well, I think, and they will need more money ASAP to make a better car. Big time, yeah. Well, that's
That's
lost
such a
that
nothing-
entertainment. Who knows, though, when Drive to Survive comes out, I'm sure we'll fall in love with what's happening behind
Yeah,
the scenes
it'll be
again with
funny,
them.
yeah.
But,
Maybe they're just saving all the jokes for off camera.
Yeah, maybe.
good work from Gunter. But yeah, I think they won't be the only team focusing on next year. This year's it's wrapped up.
Done.
So
It's
completely
redundant now,
done.
isn't it? Yeah.
And there's still some movement for the top teams, but someone like Haas just focus on next year and make a good start. I think a good start is key. We saw Aston Martin had a great start.
Yeah.
I think they've been horrendous.
They've
but
tailed
they're
off
still,
for so long, but
they're
it doesn't
still
matter
in and
because
around
they've
it,
clawed
though,
their points.
right?
Clawed
So
their points up.
Haas needs to have a good start because otherwise it's all depressing there again next year, probably.
Yep. Predictions. Let's go predictions for podium positions. First, second, and third.
Well, I'll go
What
nice
we
and easy.
thinking?
Max clean sweep bingo card, as you called it. I
Bingo
quite like, I'm
card.
stealing that.
You can have that,
I
full
like
house.
that. So Max getting the full house, fastest lap, pole position, wins the race. And I'm going to put it out there. I think he's going to win it by like 25 seconds.
Wow. Bet he will, yeah.
That's my
25
prediction.
seconds.
Second, I'm going to go Lewis. Third, I'm going to go Checo.
Ooh. Same top three, but reverse. It'll be a Red Bull 1-2 Max. Maybe not 25. Yeah, do not. Yeah, 25 seconds. Max, Checo. He's due again a good race, a good finish, and if
We said that for like 6 months.
I know,
He's
but
doing
it's
a
his
good
home race,
Please,
isn't it?
Checo, have a good one, mate.
please, and he's got a new helmet, so I'm sure it will
Yeah.
help. And then Lewis Hamilton, I think, we'll take P3 this week.
Checo.
Go on, throw something mental out there. Go on. I can see
I
it's
thought
brewing.
you just said Checo as in
No,
P1.
no, he's not going to win.
I thought you panicked.
I can't even
That's-
lie. Like I can't even
No.
pretend. Like Max is going to win the race. I'm going to say Checo second and Lewis third. I think
Okay,
that's
nice.
that's the best for everyone.
Yeah.
I need Hamilton to be on the podium because I'm a Mercedes fan. I need Checo to kind of
Be loved.
do something for the home fans.
And the Mexico fans are wild.
They are,
Right?
yeah,
Great.
they are.
I think the best thing about the Mexico City Grand Prix is the fans. Like,
Yeah.
The energy.
They were crazy in the
unbelievable.
US Grand Prix.
I was in,
They're unbelievable.
I was
So
in
cool.
Barcelona earlier this year, and I was at the French Grand Prix last year. There was this guy behind me who was a Mexican fan, had like a big sombrero thing on, and every single lap for about 60 laps, when he went past, they go, "Vamos a Checo!" and he's holding his banner
single
up.
time.
They love Formula One there, so
I love
it's
that.
looking forward to going.
Love it.
Love that. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up. Guys, make sure you smash up the likes, subscribe to On Track GP. That has been your Mexican Grand Prix preview, and we'll see you very soon. In a bit, people. Peace.